we had heard before the State of the Union that Donald Trump was going to be giving like a response or a review or whatever. And he did live react to it on Truth Social, bleeding out stuff on a really long delay, which was weird, but whatever, he did his thing. And I wouldn't have cared about most of what he said, it's ridiculous. But I was actually pretty surprised by when I loaded up his Truth Social in the morning and looked at his feed, the first message was not at all what I expected. And when I saw it, I thought maybe he had been hacked. So he said, look, he worked hard tonight. It's not a natural thing for him. It never was and never will be, but you've got to give him credit for trying. I disagree with him on most of his policies, but he put into words what he felt and he ended up the evening far stronger than he began. Give him credit for that. Many things weren't mentioned that should have been, but that's for another time. I've done a little clip. Perhaps you'd like to watch it. Good night, everybody, and God bless America. I read that and I thought, what year is it? Am I on a spaceship? Are the pod people landing? What the hell? That sounded conciliatory, reasonable, lucid. Who the hell actually typed that? But he might have. Maybe he was hoping that if he was reasonable and he tied it to, hey, look at my review, that maybe people will go and watch Truth or whatever. And I'm not just like fully guessing this. There's some evidence for it. He also bleated out, big night for Truth last night. Tremendous numbers of people signed up to hear my quote unquote play-by-play. Like, I mean, millions and millions of people. And Truth handled the traffic well. I don't know that if I wanted to, I could actually check to see if that's true. But I want to be very clear. I don't care and I'm not gonna check. I'm just gonna state with utter certainty that is BS. I do not think millions of people signed on, or if they did, it was to hear your play-by-play. I don't actually believe that. However, I know that by giving him credit for being reasonable, I have perhaps unmoored some of you from the reality we've come to know for the last few years. And you might think, wait, does this mean that he's fundamentally shifted? Does this mean that his 2024 run is going to feature that different Trump that we kept hearing from Republicans he would eventually deploy to seem reasonable? Oh dear God, he could get elected were he to do that. I wanna reassure you, that was not the ultimate tenor of the night, with bleats like stumbling, bumbling, he just can't get the words out. I don't want that to happen, but the world is watching and it's not a pretty sight, which is reasonable in comparison to Pocahontas is really going wild tonight. She almost had to be constrained. The only way that will do is in a straight jacket. Or where he called the Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, who's done an absolutely terrific job with our airports. Waits of no longer than 4 or 5 days. He's being groomed by the party for president, but his husband is not happy about it. Which, what is he saying?
The point of that, name calling, and then the husband, first off, point out he's gay again. You guys remember, hate him, he's gay. And then throw in butt, edge. What is it? Doesn't sound anything like his name. The point is to, again, bring your attention back to his anatomy, and he's got a husband. Let's keep it real. It's as base and disgusting as that.
And the reference to grooming him, like, you might think if that was the end of the sentence, okay, I would perhaps not use that word considering the way that the right has, contorted it, destroyed it, all that. But then he goes into, and his husband's not happy about it. First of all, his husband's probably as ambitious as he is. He's probably perfectly happy with Buttigieg running in 2024. So the reference to the husband convinces me, no, he means it the way that the right uses it. He's talking about grooming for I don't even know what point that would be. Well, he's a full-grown adult and it's the party. I don't know, JR, but I read that to remind everyone, no, he is just as deranged as always. Don't worry about some new Trump. Anyway, oh my God, I'm gonna read one more. Just showed Swalwell, a man who spent a lot of time in Spy Fang's honey net and wasn't removed from a most important committee, only in America. Okay, so the plausible deniability here is that when you use seduction or sexuality as spycraft, it's called a honeypot. That is the technique, the honeypot. He clearly is making a sexual joke. And it's so weird to see a man who's 120 years old, who was the president recently, making that joke. I don't, JR, I don't know.
I wasn't familiar with even the references of the joke or any of that stuff. But also, I don't remember which committees Swalwell was taken off of, but I thought he was taken off of them. I think he said he wasn't. Am I missing something?
Well, no. So the three that were taken off weren't taken off of all their committees. They were taken off of intelligence or foreign affairs, those sorts of important ones, yes. But they weren't taken off of all committees. I think that's what he's referencing.
He said the most important ones. I feel like he was taken off of the most important ones.
Yeah, from his point of view, probably was.
But it doesn't have to be true then.
So disgusting and weird. This is how you get Marjorie Greens in the party, by normalizing that. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.